If you work as a manufacturing facilities engineer, installing a new piece of equipment can be as complex as the machinery itself. From prep work to alignment and testing, it's your team's job to put it all together. That's why it's good to have Grainger on your side. With industrial-grade products and next-day delivery, Grainger helps ensure you have everything you need close at hand through every step of the installation. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're a lineman in charge of keeping the lights on, Grainger understands that you go to great lengths, and sometimes heights, to ensure the power is always flowing. Which is why you can count on Grainger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so you have everything you need to get the job done. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Golf Talk Live. This is now in the month of December 11th, 2014. We're just right around the corner from Christmas, and everybody's getting ready and celebrating here in just a couple of weeks. But tonight we're gonna have a great show for you. And actually, just to bring everybody up to speed, for those of you that were tuning in probably about 2 weeks ago now, it was on November 20th that we originally were going to broadcast tonight's show, and unfortunately ran into some technical difficulties, and the show unfortunately was not airing live for pretty much the majority of it, so I had to cut it short. And but fortunately, my guests were willing participants and decided to come back and share their stories and that tonight on air with my audience. So I appreciate them for doing that. Having said that, I got some great guests tonight. But before I bring them on, let me first remind everybody, of course, the broadcast is live from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And for those of you on the East Coast, that would be 7 to 9 Eastern Time. Also, remember, if you want to call in anytime during the live broadcast, you can do so by calling area code 646-716-4667, or you can email any questions or comments about the show to me personally at ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. And you can always get updates for the show on social media through Facebook at my Facebook page, Golf Talk Live Blog. Make sure you put blog in there, so you just go to facebook.com/Golf Talk Live Blog. And you can also follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Ted and Buck CEO. CEO is in capital letters. And thank you, by the way, for all those that have been following the Facebook page and for adding on Twitter as well here in the last couple of weeks. I appreciate it very much. If you're wanting to know how to get in touch with the program, obviously if you're listening live tonight, you've already figured that out. But for those of you that you want to pass this on to maybe somebody, let them know how they can tune into the program. Very, very simple. A number of ways that you can do it. Simple and easiest way is go to blogtalkradio.com and go up in the search key and type Golf Talk Live, and it'll take you to the home page. And you can actually just, on the live broadcast on Thursday evenings, the current show will be up top, and it'll be ready. You can just click that on. You can do that through really any of your mobile devices as well. Or you can just simply type in the full URL, which is blogtalkradio.com/Golf Talk Live, and that'll get you there as well. You can also access it through iTunes. So if you're somebody that likes to be on iTunes a lot, you can go in there and you can just go in through under podcasts, and you can just type in Golf Talk Live, and it will not only have the current show, but it'll also have all of the previously recorded shows. So make sure you go in there and you can download and listen to those right on your iPhone or iPad at any time. But you can also tune in live as well. And you can also do that from the blogtalkradio.com website as well. You can go through the on-demand section and catch any of the previously recorded programs. But we're live tonight and got some great guests here. And my first guest coming on tonight is a group of four. And they have a really interesting product called the Chute Trainer that we're going to talk about here in just a minute. But let me just bring them out here. We've got Ruben Arzola and his brother Joe Arzola, and a married couple, Rory and Jennifer Urkel, who are the owners of another organization called E Squared Creative LLC, which is a marketing company, and they've sort of partnered up with Joe and Ruben on this product as well, and are helping them. So I'm going to tell you just a little bit about the Chute Trainer, a little bit how the concept started, and then I'm going to bring them out here and we'll talk a little bit about the Chute Trainer. The idea and concept, of course, started back in 2011, really on the softball fields in Idaho. And the founding partner, of course, Ruben, was looking for really a way to increase his throwing ability without adding weights and spending a lot of time or money on a gym membership, and I can hear to that. Or purchasing a lot of useless gadgets that simply don't work. And in the process, while he was joking around with his brother Joe, he picked up a G.I. Joe doll. If those of you that are my age will certainly remember that. And of course, it had a parachute attached, and he threw it at his brother. And of course, the Chute Trainer was born. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. Welcome to Golf Talk Live.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Not a problem. Thank you for coming back. And as I said in the opening part of the program, we obviously ran into some unfortunate technical difficulties last time. So I really appreciate you guys taking some time out tonight to come on your schedule and come on the program and have another go at it. So I appreciate that. And I think what we'll do is I'm just going to talk just a little bit more, if I can, just a little bit about the product and a great offer that you guys have got for the Golf Talk Live listeners out there. And then we'll get into some questions. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Okay. As I mentioned, we'll expand a little bit more on how Ruben and Joe sort of come up with this idea. But obviously, Rory and Jennifer, who are the owners of E Squared Creative, decided that they wanted to partner up with Joe and Ruben and found the product to be quite interesting and worthwhile, and decided to join the team. And together, the four of them have sort of put their creative minds together and are in the process of really expanding that market there. And it's really a great product. I had a chance to get out and try it, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And we'll also talk, hopefully, with some callers calling in to talk about the product and their experience. And we also have some testimonials here that I'm going to read out as we go through the program as well. And for those of you, as I mentioned, on the last show that we were making a special offer. We're going to do it again this week, simply because of the difficulties we had last time. They've offered a special promotion from their website, which is chutetrainer.com. 30% off to any of the listeners that are tuning in tonight, and this will be good until midnight this Sunday. Obviously, you just have to go to the website, www.chutetrainer.com, and you'll get 30% off. You just put in the code Golf Talk Live. It's all lowercase, one word, and that's, as I said, is going to expire this Sunday at midnight. So make sure you get there. It's a great product, very reasonably priced, and you're going to get 30% off for just going and typing in Golf Talk Live in the promo code. So make sure you guys do that tonight. And it's a great product. And guys, Ruben, let's start with you. Obviously, this was sort of originally your vision. Tell us a little bit about the story and how you were kind of beating up on your brother there, and we'll go from there. How's that?
Okay. He's my older brother, by the way. But, yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, I'm an avid softball player, and just getting a little older in age, and I wanted to, keep my arm strength up, and I've known about resistance training, so started looking into it, and then just looking, me and Joe just coursing around, just feeling that little bit of resistance, I kind of thought, what, there's something there. So kind of went home and got some material together and started putting some stuff together. And made a throwing chute. Started testing that, and I could feel resistance from it. And I mean, even though softball is kind of more my game, I am a amateur golfer, a very amateur golfer. So I just thought to myself, you know what? Why can't I take this principle I've got here and apply it to golf? So originally I kind of got the throwing one and tied it on, but it was too big, too much resistance. So I started scaling it down and found, a size that would work, and before you know it, the chute trainer was born.
So just describe a little bit, Joe, why don't you do this? Just describe a little bit for those. Obviously, I've got some images up on the website so that people can see what it looks like. But essentially, really what it is in the shape of a parachute. So just explain, maybe, Joe, if you can, a little bit on how it works and sort of what the impact of that design has done to help golfers.
Okay. I'll start by 1979, the Journal of Physiology did some research, and what they found was, what they were looking at is the effects of wind resistance on muscle functionality and performance. When you look at just like a myofibrophysiology, you have fast twitch and slow twitch muscle fibers.
Right.
And the slow twitch muscle fibers are for like weightlifters, heavy weightlifters, somebody who's in a powerlifting situation. Your fast twitch fibers are for quick explosive movements like a sprinter on the golf swing, somebody who's throwing a fastball, those kinds of things. What the research showed was that there were 3 marked changes in the muscle. There was an increase in the amount of fast twitch muscle fibers. There was an increase in the firing efficiency of those muscle fibers, and ultimately just improved performance. And what the chute does is it provides wind resistance to allow your fast twitch muscle fibers to warm up without fatiguing the slow twitch muscle fibers.
Right.
We equate it to something going to a gym. Let's say that I go into a gym and I want to warm up. I'm not going to do my 1 rep max to do my bench press. I want to start easy, warm up, and then I increase my weight as I go. The chute has a similar concept, and when I go to the golf course, I can use the chute, warm myself up, and then I'm ready to golf. People are telling us that using the golf chute 7, 8, 9 swings before the actual drive, the first drive, they feel like they've already golfed 3 or 4 holes. So what takes 10, 15, 20 minutes to go hit a bucket of balls, play 2 or 3 holes, you've already achieved that by just warming up with the golf chute itself.
Right, and speaking of some of the people that use it, let's just read. I'm going to read out a couple of the testimonials here, and then we'll expand a little bit more. But Greg Albright, of course, is a golf professional, and he wrote here in his testimony, the more we use it, the more we're finding new uses for it. I never really thought about swing plane. I never really thought about it increasing leg, and it did both of these things. So he's obviously somebody that is a golf professional that understands a lot about the golf swing, and even he's seeing some benefits from it. Ty Pearson, who's a Highlands High School golf coach, writes here as well. He says, at first I was a little skeptical and thought it was a gimmick, but he says it really works, and he was certainly very impressed. And again, so here's 2 gentlemen, one a golf professional, one head coach, a golf coach here. So they certainly are looking for ways to help both students and obviously in the case of the professional looking to help his game. Obviously are seeing a benefit from using your product. So it's certainly not a gimmick, and testimonials speak volumes. When people actually, and I've used the product as well. I tried it out since we last spoke, and I can certainly concur with that. Jennifer and Rory, let me ask you this question, if I might, and bring you in on this as well. Obviously, you guys have a marketing background. You have a marketing business. What drew you to get behind the Chute trainer and sort of become part of this vision?
Well, I guess when we first got involved, we do a lot of work for a lot of different clients, locally, regionally, nationally. And Joe and Ruben were kind of looking at how do we've developed this product, and it's a great product, and we know what it does and how it works, and we've done the studies and we've introduced it to people. But now how do we bring it to market? How do we capitalize on what what we have and start, building a business out of this. So they brought us. We went down to the coffee shop. We started talking about the product itself. We talked about videos, social media, building a website, doing all that kind of stuff. And as they were explaining it to us, we were like, you know what, this sounds like a very legitimate business. It sounds like a product that actually works, because Jen and I get a lot of offers from people to join their business or buy into their business or something like that. And evidently we've got a reputation for that. But this is one of the first ones that we actually were really excited about just talking to them. But we find that even with the people that we talk to now about the product, whether it's they're coming to the website or we're just talking to them, they get it in concept and in theory. They're like, yeah, that probably works. But what sold us on the product is when we actually took the chute and a golf club and went outside and swung it in the grass. That's that oh wow moment. And we always tell people that, when people try it, they buy it. And that's actually no joke. It seems like every time that we show it to somebody and they're a golfer and they can feel that resistance and they can feel when they take it off that their club head speed is faster, they're like, this is great. I want one. I want to buy one for my wife. I want to get one for my kids, for my dad, for whatever. So it's a product that really you have to try it to believe it. And you had mentioned earlier that a lot of people think, a gimmick, because as you know, you've been around in the golf world for a long time, and all of your listeners as well, there's a million different things out there that are going to make you hit better, drive farther, do all these other things. But, this is one of those things that it really works, and we decided not too long ago to help overcome the fear of purchasing something that might be a gimmick. We're offering a free 30-day money-back guarantee as well. So if somebody buys the chute from us and they don't like it, they just return it. And it's as simple as that. So there's no to go in there and get one and try one. And we've had people locally, too, good friends of ours, that are like, well, I haven't tried it yet. Is it really legitimate? And we're like, just try it and you'll believe it. So once we tried it, we were sold on it. And like Ruben, we're not great golfers, but we like to get out on the course and enjoy the beauty and the serenity, and we enjoy the game. And just being able to have a product that fits into that and that can help improve our game and our swing sequence, not just the club head speed, but the actual swing sequence and providing leg and all that kind of stuff too. It's a good thing to be involved in, and we're thrilled.
And that brings a valid point. Another gentleman here that offered his testimonial is David Kleist. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. And that kind of goes into what you just said. After using the product, he writes, it certainly increased my swing speed and allowed me to focus more on the rotation of hips and follow through to my target. So it's not just, a fact of adding the resistance. It's helping him, obviously, with timing and helping him with his rotation through the golf swing, and that's important. And there are certainly a lot of gimmicks. I mean, I've been down to the PGA show and seen a lot of different products, and certainly there's a lot of great products, but it all boils down to this, regardless of what you're using, you have to be willing to go out and practice. And, what's the beauty of your product is it's not cumbersome, it's very lightweight, very easy to transport. You can take it with you if you want it, if you're going on a golf vacation somewhere. It's not some heavy club or some other weighted gimmick that you have to worry about, especially travelers now going on commercial flights, have to worry about excess baggage weight and things like that. So it's very, very lightweight. In fact, you could probably fold it up and stick it in your back pocket if you really wanted to. It's that compact. So it does the trick, but it's certainly compact enough to take with you. Let me ask you this. Let's talk about, if you can, specifically what a golfer should feel when using this product. What's the feeling they should get from this? And anybody?
What we're finding out, Ted, is that it's increasing the wind resistance and actually forces the golfer to improve their lag. Now, for some of you listeners who may not know what lag is, essentially it's the ability of a golfer to clear their hips before their hands come through the ball. Because of the wind resistance and the natural way that it works, it improves the lag and it helps golfers to actually learn that lag or improve the lag if they're already doing that. The other thing that we're finding is that really you only need about 5 to 7 good swings with the Chute, and we're having some good notable performance. On average, the people who've been using it are increasing about 5 to 7 miles per hour, which translates anywhere from about 25 to 30 yards down the fairway. The Chute fits on any standard USGA club. It snaps on very quickly and easily. The other thing we want to point out is that it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or if you're an advanced pro. I carry a handicap of about a 3, depending on how much I play. And I go out there and use it, and immediately I notice some improved results. So it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or if you're a pro, you're going to have some good results off of this. And as you mentioned with Dave Kleiss earlier, that's the first thing he noticed was that it actually improved his lag, and it was just kind of an unexpected surprise that he was able to have that.
And just to add to that, Dave is a very accomplished golfer. He's not a pro or anything like that, but he's just a good golfer, and he's been in a couple of our videos because he's got such a great swing. And he's been golfing since he's been a little kid, a member of the country club, and is out there at least once a week, if not 2 or 3 times a week. And it's just, he's surprised, right? And he's one of those guys, a little bit skeptical, and, what do you got for me? But when he tried it, he was like, wow, yeah, you have something here. So we love to have testimonials from people like that and actually get the people that may think it's a little gimmicky or something,
get them on
to try
board.
it. And then,
get them on board. Well, speaking of which, guys, we just not mean to interrupt you here, but we got a couple of callers here. I'm going to bring the first one on here and let them join the conversation.
Okay.
Good evening, and welcome to Golf Talk Live. You're on the air.
Thank you. I was just calling in to give my testimonial as far as my shoulder's concerned. I've been golfing all my life, but my shoulder, I blew it out this last summer and started using the Chute trainer, and it's definitely helped rehabilitate my shoulder, along with improving, an already perfect golf swing.
And before I ask my question here, what is your name?
My name's John.
John, welcome to the show. I appreciate you calling in. Well, John, that's an interesting thing that you mentioned. I mean, with a lot of the products out there and especially if you've sustained an injury, you have to be very, very careful with whatever sport that you may be doing. And obviously this product, again, because it is lightweight, but yet offers resistance, somebody that obviously you had to probably go through a little bit of a rehabilitation, if you will, with your shoulder, you have to be very careful of what you're doing. So you can't overdo it with weights and things like that to sort of keep the golf muscles going. So you have to find another way. And obviously it sounds like that this product has certainly helped you with your game.
Oh yeah, it's helped out a ton because you can swing slow or swing hard, and you still get resistance regardless of how you're swinging. So that's what makes it really nice.
Perfect.
Well,
listen.
Ted, John brings up a really good point that we have another gentleman here in town named Bart McDonald who is a physical therapist. And prior to Jen and I coming on board, Ruben and Joe had brought their product down there. Probably he's had it for at least a year and a half, I would imagine now. And he did a little video testimonial for us, too, that you can find at chutetrainer.com, which is CHUTE, by the way, like parachute.
Yep.
But, what they do is a lot of rehabilitation, obviously, and people that are trying to return to sport after injury, much in the case of John, where you have a blown-out shoulder or a bad back, you cannot add a lot of weight to that, right? So in the case of John or Bart with his clients where they're golfers and this is what they're passionate about, they can still get out there and swing the club. If you swing easy, it works easy. If you swing hard, it works harder. So you're adding just the right amount of resistance to help rehab without ruining the person's swing or causing even more injury, which is something that Bart had said is always a concern of theirs, is if you add weight or a rubber band kind of resistance thing, that there's always that chance of making it worse.
Exactly. Well, John, I want to thank you for calling in and sharing that with us, and we've got somebody else on the line here. I want to bring them on, too, and let them have a moment to express their experience with the Chute trainer. John, thank you very much for calling in.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
All right, you too. All right. Good evening and welcome to Golf Talk Live. You're live on the air. Hi. Good evening.
Hi. Good evening. I didn't know if you were talking to me or not.
Yep, you're on the air with the gang from Chute. So how was your experience with the product?
It was pretty awesome. I just tried out the golfing one, and I'm a novice. Like, I've never golfed in my life besides mini golf. So I tried it out, and I think it's pretty awesome. I loved it.
Now, what did you find? First off, let me ask, what is your name?
Shuri.
Shuri. What was some of the things that you first noticed? Obviously, you're a novice golfer, as you expressed, so you're sort of just new to the game. But what was what was sort of the feeling that you had when you first tried the product? What did you notice about it when you were swinging the club with the Chute trainer?
Well, obviously, there's that resistance, and so like as you're swinging it, you're kind of getting a feel for, it's like you're resisting, and.
Right.
It kind of feels a little awkward at first, especially for me where I've never hit a golf ball before. So I had to learn, how to hold it and how to do basic things with golf. But I tried it, and I wasn't even able to hit the ball before the Chute trainer. I wasn't able to hit very far at all, just barely. And then they attached the Chute trainer. I took a few more practice swings, and then when they took it off, I was able to just launch. Like when I actually made contact with the ball, I was able to launch it pretty far.
Well, hey,
so,
that's good, especially for a novice golfer. Let me also ask you too. Especially being a new golfer, it can be very intimidating for somebody that's never played. I'm not going to obviously ask you your age because that's something you never ask a lady. But obviously you're still very young. But you've obviously taken up you've obviously taken up the game a little bit later in life. I started obviously very very young when I was a youngster. But so it's a very intimidating sport to take up. So do you see that this particular product, if you will, in its application, do you see that it's going to be able to help you sort of through your journey of learning?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And more so, they have another product that's more for throwing. And and that one pertains to me, more so because I play softball. But it's the same. The technology is the same idea. But, yeah, definitely, if I was to continue to golf, I would definitely need to use the Chute trainer in order to, increase my performance and just the speed at which I hit the ball, I guess. Just from that one initial practice, I was able, it was a major increase from before I used the Chute trainer.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, obviously, as you continue on and learn the game, you're going to be able to have that with you. Do you see yourself down the road, as you become a little bit more accomplished and you want to maybe travel and maybe go to, say, a resort as an example that has a golf course, do you see that application where you can take it with you and still do a little warm-up before you play?
Yeah, definitely, because it's super portable, small, can fit in your golf bag. Yeah, it's really easy to just take with you wherever you're going. So, yeah, definitely.
Well, and the thing is, as somebody that's in the golf business, obviously I teach golf and that, and obviously you want to, and I don't know what you're doing if you're getting lessons from anybody, but this is something obviously that a product that can work very well with instructors as well. So obviously I'm sure you've seen the benefits using it as a student, let's say, or as a potential player, but you can also see the application where somebody that's in the golf business could use that to help their students, correct?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I don't see any negative aspects to it whatsoever. How could it hurt to increase the velocity that you're hitting the ball? It's portable, easy to take with you anywhere. I don't see why anybody would use it, no matter what the level is that they're playing at, whether they're a beginner like me or there's somebody like you who's teaching. I can only see positive aspects to using it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming on and sharing your experience with the Chute trainer. Thank you, and much continued success and good luck with your game. No problem. Thank you very much. All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Well, guys, that's interesting because you've got really kind of two perspectives. You had, John there, that's somebody that's obviously at some point had sustained an injury and was able to use it to sort of keep himself in line, if you will. And then you have, this young lady who's just sort of first starting out and is already seeing a benefit very early on, which was really not very common in the golfing business for a beginner golfer. That's usually a lot of months of frustration of trying to learn to play first off. So it's good that she's obviously seen some results. So that's going to encourage her to want to continue in using it.
Yeah, that's true. Greg Albright, local golf pro, one of the first things he noticed about it is that it improves the lag piece we talked about. Another really interesting thing that the way we designed it is it doesn't change your natural golf swing. Some of us are into outswingers or an out to in, or you want to be able to work the ball. And because of the way it swivels on the shaft and it follows your natural golf swing, it still allows you to use the swing that best works for you. So it doesn't force you out of something that you're not used to or something that you don't want to do.
And that's interesting too. Here's another testimonial from Roger M. And he writes here, at first, it surprised me with the ease of the product. And using that, it made me slow down because of the feeling of drag. And obviously, if anything could improve my game, it would be a product like that. So, what it also does is somebody that's maybe rushing their swing, it affords them the opportunity to feel a little bit more feedback, if you will, from the product and helping him slow his swing down. A lot of people get very jerky in their swing. This is something that's going to help maybe a lot of golfers smooth it out. So it sounds like, there's a lot of different benefits. It's not just sort of the obvious benefits, but a lot of people with different circumstances and different issues are able to see a benefit that serves them well. One of the things. Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
One thing I wanted to add was that Shree or Greg Albright, they're all swinging the same product. You know what I mean? That's the same chute that Shree uses is the same chute that the Golf Pro uses. So as you get stronger and your swing speed increases, it keeps working with you. It's not like you're buying a 110 pound weight set where eventually. Yeah. It doesn't work for you no more. This will keep working with you because it works all off resistance and not off weight.
Right, exactly, and that brings me to really a great point, Rory. We're going to start with you here in just a second. Rory had sent me a video here a few days ago, and we're going to talk a little bit about the video, and then we're going to sort of tie it in with the Chute Trainer. But before I do that, let me just remind everybody that's tuning into the program tonight that our guests here from Chute Trainer have given a very generous offer to the listeners here in Golf Talk Live. For those of you from tonight until midnight on Sunday, this coming Sunday, ChuteTrainer.com. That's www.chutetrainer, and that's CHUTE trainer.com, and type in promo code Golf Talk Live, all one word and all in lowercase. You'll receive a 30% discount off the purchase price. So make sure that you do that. Visit ChuteTrainer.com and get yourself a couple of with a nice discount like that. You can get a few of them. You get one for yourself, and for that golfer, you can get that under the Christmas tree. And you got plenty of time to do it. You got a few weeks left here, so make sure you pick up a few and get yourself back on track for next year. Rory, you sent me a video which was kind of interesting. You sent that to me the other day, and let me just explain to the listeners here, because obviously we don't have the benefit of watching it at this point. But as I understand, you had mentioned earlier when we were off the air that you did upload that video onto the website. So for those after the show, don't go leaving now. After the show, if you want to go and watch that video, you can go to ChuteTrainer.com and you'll see physically what we're talking about. But essentially, it's about a 6 or 7 minute long video, and there's two components to it. It talks in the beginning. It features a young collegiate baseball player, and of course he's got a bat, and he's in a test situation where he's taking a few swings with the baseball bat, and then he's hitting a few. I believe he hit 10 hits with the bat without the benefit of putting weights on, and they measured the speed and so forth, and then they had him swing a bat which a lot of the professionals do in Major League Baseball, swing with a weighted bat, and then they had him repeat the test again and found actually something very interesting, and we're going to talk about that in just a second here. And then they switched over and they actually had a golf professional who did the same thing, took a few swings with his driver and then added another club there to have some weight and swing, which a lot of golfers, that was something that we all used to do when we were first learning up the game. It was always told to, grab 2 or 3 clubs and hold them in your hands and kind of get that weighted feel. And then he, of course, did the same thing and noticed sort of the same results as the other young man did. And the results really were very interesting because initially on both, they had a bat speed, if you will, of I think it was 160 miles an hour, and then conversely with the golf club, it was 100 and some odd, or it was around the 100-mile, I think it was, mark as well. But what happened was afterwards, when they took when they hit their shots or swung the bat, their speed had actually decreased instead of increased, which was something that they thought they were going to get an increase. Rory, explain first off why that happens, if you can, and also talk about the difference in how the Chute trainer, even though it's offering resistance because it's not weighted, how that sort of applies.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Joe had mentioned earlier, too, about this study that was done back in 1979. And I keep telling Joe that he needs to update, get a little bit newer information. And Joe also wears bell-bottoms and has an afro, so we're trying to help him out there, too.
Yeah.
But this is a segment that I had actually seen on the Discovery Channel, and I remember watching this a couple of years ago, obviously before we got involved with this product, but it kind of triggered my memory, and I started thinking about it, and they wanted to know on this show, it was one of those like Mythbusters kind of a thing, and what's the science behind this? Because we all watch baseball, and Joe and Ruben play softball, and you see all the people go out there and they add the weighted donut on there, or they swing a couple bats, and so the question was, does that really work, and is there a benefit for doing that? And what they found through this and other studies, like the one Joe mentioned, is that when you're using weights, you're incorporating and priming your slow-twitch muscle fibers. Those muscle fibers are, for endurance, are for strength, for lifting weights, that sort of stuff. And the fast-twitch muscles are just what it is, right? They're fast-twitch muscles that are used for explosive speed and swinging and throwing and running and that sort of stuff. So when you see the Olympic trainers, sprinters running with the parachutes behind them, this is exactly the same concept except adapted for a golfer. So if it didn't work, if there wasn't science that proved that it actually improved their speed and their time, you wouldn't see Olympic trainers out there training with the chutes on their back. So it goes against people saying, oh, this is a gimmick. Well, it really isn't, because there's science that actually proves that it works. The other thing, when you're swinging a weighted bat or a weighted golf club and you're starting to incorporate those slower twitch muscles, muscle fibers, you're actually creating more fatigue. And what this video shows is that when you incorporate heavier weights and you start swinging them in a bat or a golf club, you're incorporating and priming the wrong muscle fibers, causing the slow twitch muscles to fatigue, and then you're more tired, right? So at the end of the day, what this video proves and shows is that they swing the bat prior to using the weights, it's faster. Their swing is faster. Their timing is on. For a golfer, we talked about the golf sequence and that leg and moving your hips through first. There's a proper sequence that has to happen in a perfect golf swing, which is so difficult for people starting out like Cherie or myself, or Jen seems to naturally have a good swing. I don't know how that happened, but which makes me mad. But, it's just one of those things, too, that we're always trying to improve. And Greg Albrecht, Ty Pearson, and these guys that do this for a living, and like yourself, you know how difficult it is to teach that. And this product not only teaches that, but it also provides that whole fast twitch muscle priming and firing so that you are warmed up. Again, you don't have a lot of time off, and if you're running late, you're getting to the golf course. You don't want to go out and hit a bucket of balls or a half a bucket of balls. You got to get going, because a few times there, you string this thing 7 or 8 times, and you do feel like you've already played a little bit. So there's definitely benefit there, and at the price point we're at, we think that there's a huge value to it. That it literally and actually works. We haven't had one person that's tried it, and we do these demo nights. This is how we kind of started to introduce it to people locally and regionally, is have a demo night, get some pizza, invite people down to try it, go up and talk to people at the golf courses. And it's like I mentioned earlier too, it's like people try it, they buy it. And it's been a great thing. So I encourage everybody that might be kind of, I don't know if this thing works or not. Well, there's 2 things. You can go now to our website, and you can watch that video, and I have a link to another sports write-up through another party, the science behind fast twitch and slow twitch muscles and that sort of stuff. So you can read some articles on that. You can watch the video that was done independently of us and see for yourself. And then try it. If you don't like it, if you don't believe in it, that's okay. And we will give you your money back.
Yeah. Guys, let me, just to not to cut you off here, Rory, let me just, I see we've got a caller here that's waiting here for a few minutes. So I want to bring them on and let them have a chance to talk as well. All right?
Okay, perfect.
All right, good evening. Welcome to Golf Talk Live, and sorry to keep you holding here. Who do we have the pleasure of joining us tonight?
Hey, this is Dave from Idaho. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Steve, what's your experience with the Chute trainer?
It's actually Dave, but
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm sorry.
I've actually tried it out, and boy, am I really pleased with it. I'm a golfer. I've about a 10, 11 handicap, and I draw the ball a lot. In fact, just about every swing I have draws the ball anywhere from 10 to 15, 20-yard draw. But one of the things that I liked about the swing trainer, the Chute trainer, is that not only did I feel warmed up, but sometimes I'll use it a couple of times with it throughout the round, and it actually gets me on a better plane as I come through my swing, and it allows me to hit the ball straighter. Sometimes, on some of our courses, there's not a lot of room, off the tee, and if I got to aim it out to the right, we're hitting it right into a tee, into a tree. So that swing trainer, the Chute trainer, has allowed me to cut down on that draw and cut down on the amount of draw that I'll have, and so it hits it straighter. And I think it really helps a golfer who has an established swing. Just allows them to get it on a better plane, and gets them feeling good about things. And it just sometimes if I'm pulling it too far back inside or too far outside in, I pull that thing out, even in the middle of a round, take 3 or 4 swings with it, and bam, I feel like I'm right back on playing.
Now, Dave, let me ask you. Obviously, it sounds like you play a fair bit of golf here. Obviously, you're 10, 11 handicap. Do you find after using this that the buddies in your foursome are getting a little interested in maybe trying it out or trying to steal it out of your golf bag?
Well, a couple have tried it and really liked it. Unfortunately, I started using it at the end of the golf season, so I haven't been able to. While we've had some pretty nice weather here in Idaho, even in November and December, I haven't been able to play much, with the cold weather. So I haven't had a lot of guys trying it, but the few that have are ready to sign up and get one themselves, because and a few have gone online and signed up to get the Chute trainer just because they liked how it immediately got them ready for the round. Some of my friends are slow starters. None of us ever get to the tee box on time. We're always basically pulling up and throwing our clubs on the first tee and running in to pay and running right out and taking. I mean, usually my warm up was 5 or 6 swings with the driver, and boom, I'm ready to go. Yeah. And this gives me 5 or 6 swings, and I pipe one down the middle. One of the things I like though is that with the draw, it's harder to stop it on the green. That you kind of that side spin, Whereas guys who hit a cut seem to stop it a little better. Now that I hit it a little straighter, I seem to be knocking down more pins, and that's obviously that's allowed me to lower my score some.
Well, exactly, and the thing is that Dave, you raise a really a valid point. In this day and age, a lot of people are under time restraints with a heavy work schedule or family obligations, and a lot of times you don't have that opportunity to get to the course in time to hit a small bucket of balls. So it's kind of nice to have something that kind of gives you the same benefit, if you will, of maybe hitting a few shots on the range without having to use up a lot of your time. And the added benefit is the fact, because it is small and light and compact, that you can take it with you very easily. Even if you decide to do a Myrtle Beach trip or something like that with your foursome, you can take it with you and still that same benefit, and you're not lugging some big bulky product with you.
Well, I used to have a swing trainer called the Dream Swing, and it was a pole that stuck in the ground, and it had an arm coming off of it that you put on a golf club, and
I remember that.
It was great. It actually lowered my handicap from about a 16 down all the way down to 8 to 10 where I was when I was really playing a lot. But I couldn't throw that in my bag. I couldn't take it back to Maryland or to Florida or to Myrtle Beach or down to Arizona when I was going on golf trips. And so if I didn't get a good warm up with that, or I hadn't used it in a while, my muscle memory was fading some, and I didn't like that. But this Chute trainer allows not just the warm up, which is great, but also if you've got a decent swing to start with, boy, but if you've had some problems with keeping it on plane, this thing seems, for me and for a couple of my buddies, to get it right back on track, and which that could take 4 or 5 holes sometimes, and sometimes the whole round.
Well, and that's true, and that's that's something that as golfers and myself being in the golf teaching end of things, that's something that we want to be able to help our students with, is to get a good feel back. And there are a lot of problems. I mean, as I was starting to say earlier, I've been down to the PGA show before, and I've been to different clinics and things like that. And there's a lot of great products on the market, but unfortunately, it's like anything. You obviously have to, whatever practice you put into it, you're going to see some results. But as you indicated with the other product, some of them are not, easily able to pick up and take with you all the time. And so this product here seems like it's something that not only the golfer can take with them, to the golf course, but also the golf instructor is not taking up a lot of room in their facility with a bunch of products and that. But Dave, I want to thank you for calling into the program and sharing your story with us.
One more real quick point.
Sure.
Think about it this way also. I mean, it's $40,
yep.
And if it is just for warm up, I mean, that's $5 every time you go to the course for a bucket of balls, plus an extra 20 minutes or so on the range. Well, that's all it takes is 8 visits to the golf course, and you paid for itself. And you've saved an extra 3 hours of time, not having to warm up prior to your golf round. So to me, 3 hours of my time plus $5 every time going to the course, I mean, it more than pays for itself. It's a great product.
Yep, exactly. And with that in mind, Dave, when you're talking to some of those buddies of yours that are still sitting on the fence, make sure that you give them a call if they're not tuning in tonight, and tell them to visit chutetrainer.com, and they can go into the promo code there and type in Golf Talk Live, all in lowercase and all one word, and they can save themselves 30%. Plus, on top of that, so you might even want to get an extra one, and maybe if you've got a buddy that you exchange with or something, you might want to get that as a present. Visit chutetrainer.com and enter the promo code Golf Talk Live in lowercase, and you'll save 30% on the product. Great product and great endorsement. Thank you, Dave, for sharing that story with us tonight.
No problem. Thanks. Have a good night.
All right. Have a good week. All right. Bye-bye.
Well, that was a great testimony from him, and I think that just shows you with the diverse group that called in tonight and abilities. It works for everybody, and everybody's found value in the product. So that speaks well.
Yeah, and just one more quick testimonial here, just on that note, that Dave was talking about getting to the range. Kelly Martinez writes here, she says, I'm notorious for being late and don't always have a chance to warm up. with the Chute trainer, I just keep it in my bag, pull it out, clip it on real quick and warm up quickly. She says, I really love it and can't wait to use this again. So, there's a perfect example. In this day and age, we're all really strapped and pressed for time. And it doesn't matter who you are, what business you're in, or what it is, occupation that you're doing. We're all busy in this modern age, and our time is very valuable. Whether it's whatever play we want to do, whatever game or extracurricular activities, or whether we have family obligations, our time is very limited. So, as Dave put and Kelly has put in her testimonial here, it's not always possible to go and spend a lot of time on the practice range. Whether it be, 15, 20, 30 minutes. So, if you're getting late to the course and you've only got maybe a moment or two before you're ready to tee off, you can clip the Chute trainer on and, as I said, 6, 7, maybe 8 swings, and you're going to get some feedback, and it's going to help you kind of get on plane, if you will, and it feels like you've actually been to the range for a few minutes warming up. So there's obviously a lot of benefits for it, and for basically just under $40 and 30% off of that, if you go to the ChuteTrainer.com website tonight and type in Golf Talk Live for you listeners out there, that'll be good until Sunday at midnight. So it's a great Christmas gift for somebody coming up here in a couple of weeks, and grab yourself a couple. Got that great discount.
Hey, Ted,
go ahead.
If you don't mind, there's another side to this story.
Sure.
And what we're doing. And it isn't just about the product and improving people's games. I mean, that's what it is, really. But there's also another aspect to what we do, and it's the manufacturing, which I'd like Jen to speak to, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So the four of us live in the same community. It's a smaller town, about 60,000 people. And we are very aware of locally owned, locally operated businesses, and our community is comprised of several of those. We wanted to find a way that we could actually stay local, and by that we also wanted to find a way that we could manufacture locally. We were told by several people that we would need to go overseas to be able to afford manufacturing and be able to keep the product at a decent sales price for all of our customers. But what we found was a really special manufacturing company just up the road from us in Blackfoot, Idaho. It's called Donna Enterprises, and it hires people with disabilities. And we have contracted with them. They are manufacturing all of our Chutes. They will grow as large as we need them to continue manufacturing. It's a huge blessing for us to be able to keep the entire process in the United States. It's all American-made, and it's providing jobs within our communities. It's supporting locally owned businesses. It's promoting local people, and it's providing opportunity to a population that's often overlooked and not given very many opportunities to have a meaningful job. And we all have somebody in our family who has a disability of some sort. And so working within that population is pretty important to us. We want to stay with them. It's one of the reasons that we're not really looking for any other manufacturing opportunity, because what we're providing to this population is something that we hope our family members are given as well.
Yeah, and that's a great point, and I certainly wanted to give you an opportunity to bring that, to mention here on the air. Any time that we can do something, I'm a big proponent of that. Any time that we can do something to give back within our communities or help out in our community is always first and foremost. I mean, nothing gives you more joy and pleasure than when you can do something to help somebody else. And there's a lot of folks out there that, whether they were born in that circumstance or whether they maybe were in the military and maybe had been injured serving their country, it's very difficult, that transition sometimes back in the workforce or sometimes, right from the get-go. So it's great that your group has stepped up and decided to make a point of not only bringing a great product to the market, but also engaging those that maybe sometimes don't always have the same advantages that maybe we have. And that's a great way to give back within your community. And I know that that those listening to the program and those that are going to be following you on your journey in progress, that they're going to see that and recognize what it is that you're trying to do, and certainly with honor. So kudos to all of you for doing that, and certainly much continued success.
Well, thank you. It's so important to us that we do keep that integrity within our process and our journey. No matter how large this may grow, we always want to remember, we are a local business and we do support our community. Our community is so supportive of us that it's really nice to be able to give back in these small ways and provide some opportunities.
Exactly. And you guys are certainly doing that, and that, and that's nice too, that you're sort of thinking about that first, and it's kind of refreshing to see somebody. I mean, obviously, we are in business to make money and to survive and to earn a living in that. But I think when you start something with an agenda of trying to help other people, not only with the product but also in the presentation and bringing the product to bear, if you will, and it's not always about the money, that really, in my opinion, breeds success. So I know that you guys will do well with the product. It sounds like you've got a great start to it, and I'm glad to certainly help bring that to fruition with my listeners. And I want to thank all of you, Ruben and Joe and Rory and Jennifer, for reaching out to me and coming on as my guest tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. And one more thing I'd like to mention.
Sure.
Before we go, if I think we're almost out of time for our segment, but we're always looking for opportunities to branch out and to grow. And if anybody has any ideas or they have questions or they want to talk to one of us, you can always email us and get in touch with us by going to chutetrainer.com. There's a contact form on the webpage. You can find us on Facebook. So you can always get a hold of us that way if there's anybody interested in helping us grow this, or they've got an idea for this product, or there's an opportunity that, we're looking at getting into colleges and doing, special colors for colleges and labels, putting their logo on it, I guess. We do it for businesses. We'll do it for colleges.
Right.
And we're also in the process of making pink ones, which I think was one of your suggestions, Ted. We'll pat you on the back for that one, for the people that want a pink chute. And then also looking at opportunities of possibly tying that into breast cancer awareness. So
sure.
That's kind of our focus and our mindset is let's help everybody if we can.
Yeah, exactly.
We're doing events here locally with the food bank. So it's just a good thing to be able to give back.
Yeah, any time that you can, regardless of what it is, what occupation or what business that you're involved with, any time that you can reach out and give a helping hand to somebody else, those rewards are far greater than any monetary reward that you will ever receive. I can guarantee you of that, and I will stand as a testimonial for that. When I look back over the time, I've had moments throughout my career and my life's journey where I've had some certainly great financial success. But the most memorable moments in my life was when I put a smile on somebody's face, or in some cases brought a good tear to somebody's eye because of an act of kindness or something that I've done. So anytime we can reach out and help others, I'm all about that. And again, kudos to all of you guys. So again, Ruben, Joe, and Rory and Jennifer, thank you very much for coming on Golf Talk Live and sharing your information about the Chute Trainer. And again, for those listening to the program, we've just got a couple of weeks here till Christmas. And certainly don't want to tie you down for just Christmas. That's any time you want to purchase one. But Christmas is coming up. It's a time of gift giving and thinking of others. So why don't you visit chutetrainer.com and type in Golf Talk Live in the promo code section there in lowercase and get one for you at a 30% discount. Compliments of the people, great people here at Chute Trainer, and that's good until Sunday at midnight. So get on the internet, get on the website, and start getting your orders going there. Thanks, guys, for coming on tonight. I appreciate it, and always welcome to come back anytime you want.
Thank you so much, Ted.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. All right. Have a great week.
Okay, you too.
Okay, that was the group from Chute Trainer, Ruben and Joe Arzola, and Rory and Jennifer Urkel from Chute Trainer. And just want to remind everybody again, if you visit chutetrainer.com and type in promo code Golf Talk Live in lowercase, all one word, you can get yourself a 30% discount off the product. And definitely recommend that you do that. It's a great product, and I think that I think you can't go wrong anytime that you can do something to help your game. And it's certainly not, I've tried it myself. I can honestly stand as testimony as well that it's definitely not a gimmick. It's definitely a great product. I've got three great ladies coming on the program here in just a few moments, and I'm going to do an introduction here. As I say, they were part of the previous show on November 20th. They were scheduled to come on, but as I said earlier in the beginning of the broadcast, unfortunately we had some technical difficulties, and we weren't able to continue with the broadcast and have them on. But coming up here in just a few moments, Donna White. She's an LPGA professional, teacher and a club professional, and a member of PGA. And she was just recently inducted into the LPGA Teaching and Club Professionals Hall of Fame, just actually a few days before she was scheduled to come on the first time. And she's also the owner and CEO of Golf Professional Services, Inc., down in the southern part of Florida. And she's going to be joined by two other great ladies, Valerie Moore, who's also LPGA, PGA Director of Instruction at John Prince Golf Learning Center and Golf Professional Services, and also Mary Lee Cobick, who's also a Class A LPGA and CPGA. She's also the Vice President of Golf Professional Services and the head professional at the Okeechobee Golf Course, and she's the President of the Junior Golf Foundation of America. And they're going to be joining me here in just a moment or two. But just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in and for your patience from a few weeks ago. Again, I apologize for those of you that we're planning on calling in this evening or that evening, and that we're tuning in, and unfortunately we're disappointed that we had to shut that one down. But as I said, I made a mistake, and I hope you'll all forgive me. But thanks for joining me tonight. As I said, I'm going to be joined here by three great ladies in the golf profession, and I'm going to bring them out here now. Please welcome Donna White, Valerie Moore, and Marilee Cobick.
Hi, Ted. How are you?
Very good. Welcome, ladies, to Golf Talk Live. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing? We got all three of us here for you.
Perfect. Ladies, again, thank you, and much apologies for our mishap a few weeks ago. Wanted to apologize to you guys personally again. I know that you were scheduled to come on November 20th, and unfortunately we had to cut that short. But thank you guys for coming on and rescheduling so quickly, especially with the holidays coming up. And we'll do our best here to make sure that we have no other mishaps here for this show, and we'll get right to it. Donna, I want to start with you. You obviously have been in the golf industry for a number of years, and congratulations as well on your recent nomination, being inducted into the LPGA Teacher Professionals and Club Professionals Hall of Fame. Congratulations on that. How did it feel when you got the news?
Well, really, I was quite shocked, really, when I was informed that one of my peers had nominated me. So, as far as feelings, I think I was honored and kind of surprised. I mean, it really wasn't anything that I set out to do, and just grateful that I'm still alive to enjoy it. So that's pretty cool. So, my feelings were. I was, like I said, I was honored to be nominated, and then to find out that the process is you have to be nominated by your peers, and then the form, you have to complete all the paperwork and stuff that goes before the committee. So, and then they accept the nomination or not. So, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and again, congratulations. Ladies, before we get into some more questions, I want to take just a few moments, because there are the three of you here. I want to just take a couple of moments. I can't obviously go through everything because, to be quite honest, you all have so many accolades and so many awards and whatnot. It would take up pretty much the remaining time of the show. So I'm just going to read out a few things, if you don't mind, and then we'll get into some questions and have some conversation here. I'm going to start, obviously, Donna, with you. Donna, of course, is one of our guests tonight. She was born and raised in Kingston, North Carolina, and she attended the University of North Carolina in Greensboro. Later transferred to and graduated from the University of Florida in 1976 and attained her LPGA Tour card in 77, capturing her first 2 tournament titles in 1980 and her third in 1983 at the Sarasota Classic. Many highlights, and again, your recent induction as well into the Hall of Fame, which is obviously an honor. Valerie Moore, of course, as I said, is joining us as well, and she's been an instructor with Golf Professional Services since 2007, and in 2010 she was recognized by U.S. Kids Golf as an honorable mention top 50 U.S. Kids teacher, and went on to become a top 50 U.S. Kids teacher in 2011, 12, and 13. And she currently works also at the St. Mary's Children's Hospital teaching golf to children through the South Florida PGA section, Smile for Life program. In addition, she was nominated in 2011 and 2013 LPGA Southeast Section Teacher of the Year, and had over 20 years plus of experience in the business. And finally, but certainly not least, a fellow Canadian. I didn't realize that until I read through some of the notes a few weeks ago. Marilee Cobick, of course, originally from Quebec, Canada. And she grew up playing golf at her father's 9-hole course in Amos. I think that's pronounced correctly. And as a junior, she was ranked #1 junior in Canada in 1997 and was awarded the SCORE Award for Best Female Junior Golfer in Canada. And as an amateur, she was also a member of the Canadian National Golf Team from 1988 to 93. And she also won a Division I college tournament while attending Florida State University with a full scholarship. And in 2000, she won 3 professional tournaments on the Canadian Tour and was named 2000 Player of the Year. Ladies, again, welcome. A lot of great, and I mean, as I said, there's a myriad of other accomplishments and things that I could read out here, but I want to spend time talking with the three of you. Donna, you started a business here some time ago called Golf Professional Services. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, how that came about, and then maybe you can sort of bring in the other two to share some thoughts and views on that as well.
Well, I retired from the tour in 1992, and when I made the transition as a tour player, I knew I still wanted to stay in the industry, and my passion was always teaching and stuff, but I was actually in the private and the semi-private sector once I retired, representing the community that I was. And then in 1995, Palm Beach County, they decided that they were going to be going into the golf business, and Okehele was their first golf course that they were going to be building. And anyway, I kind of made it a passion to, I thought that municipal golf would be somewhere I could pursue my love of teaching and the programming, and started my company and went for the contract and got it. And now it'll be 20 years. Actually, it's 20 years that we've had this relationship with Palm Beach County, and we now have 3 facilities. And Valerie is at John Prince. Mary Lee is vice president of the company, and we have 14 to 18 professionals on staff providing services to the residents and visitors of Palm Beach County. So I transitioned from being a professional golfer to a golf professional, and to pursue my passion kind of in education. I've always loved teaching, even though I was a player. But this gave me the background for all aspects of the industry, from merchandising. We own the shops, the food and beverage, and
right,
all those types of things. So that's pretty much how that story went.
And you know, one of the things that's obviously gives you a big advantage, Donna, being a former tour player, gives you a great deal of insight to the game. Obviously, you know, as instructors, we all go through our paces, if you will, but players have a little bit of a unique advantage, if you will, to those that maybe didn't play in competitive golf, because you understand from both sides of the ropes, you know, not just somebody watching, but also somebody actually playing under pressure in that. So you have a unique perspective on things. Tell us a little bit, if you can, Donna, how and what are some of the experiences that you bring as a player into your teaching?
Well, I think as far as being a player into my teaching, as you know, some players are the worst teachers. You don't have to necessarily be a good player to be an effective teacher, because we forget how we learned. A lot of expert players forget how they learn. and therefore even my own peers as tour players, oh, well, just do this, just feel this, well, they forgot that they had to develop that feel. So I think personally, as a player and then as a teacher, I think being a competitive player at the highest level gave me a great understanding of the desire, the discipline, dedication that goes into the game. I actually have learned more from the golf professional side of how I've had to back up in respect of how I started learning the game. So while it may give you a lot of credibility, a lot of times, those that play the game well can sometimes assume that a beginner may understand a terminology, or that intermediate player that they're coaching understands certain things, and they really don't. So I think a good player or someone who's a good has to be aware of that. And luckily, I was around educators, Dr. Owens, that influenced my career the most. Importantly, and Nori Wright, who always was always reminded me of those things, to pass my passion forward. But remember, never forget how you learn the game. Learning and teaching are two different things. So I think that was really something that has been a key to my success as an instructor, and coming from a playing background.
Right, and what are if you were to sort of sum it up, if you will, for those that, and I'm going to call it GPS for short. I'm referring to Golf Professional Services just to make it easier for the listeners. For those that are visiting your facilities and dealing with you, what type of experience do you really hope to provide for those that are attending any of the locations? And I'll give you all an opportunity to share that. But Donna, obviously, I'll give you the first response.
Well, the mission of our company is to provide affordable programming, merchandising, food and beverage, tournament management services, to those visitors and those year-round residents of Palm Beach County. It's that simple. So while we provide affordable services, we also like to provide almost a private club atmosphere. So if you walk into our golf shops, they aren't going to look like the typical municipal facility.
Right.
And also the same thing at John Prince. We probably have one of the nicest little golf shops and pro shops that you can see at a municipal facility, and at Park Ridge, because it's in a portable building. It's built on top of a landfill. So, and each facility is unique, so therefore I also try, while we have certain standards within the company, you still have to respect the uniqueness of each facility. And our working model is we are contracted vendors of Palm Beach County Parks and Recreation. So that partnership must be respected and adhered to, first of all, because if we didn't have the contracts, we wouldn't be here. So there's some unique aspects of any visitor to the facilities. All of our facilities in Palm Beach County Parks and Recreation has dedicated, made a great commitment to all their parks and recreation services in providing a good product. So all the facilities are well maintained. They aren't just like in our industry, we would call it like a muni course. So we try to exceed both the mission of the parks as well as our company exceed the standards and expectations of the typical municipal facility.
Very good. And Val, let me ask you, obvious question. You joined GPS in 2007. What brought you there, and what are some of the things that you enjoy most about being part of the team at GPS?
Well, I think it's many things. We're given an environment where we can be creative, think outside the box, and really consider the customer's ultimate satisfaction and improvement. And as long as that's happening, then we just try things. We throw something against the wall. If it works, great. If not, we try something else. When we do our end of the month reports, we see where we're weak and think, how can we change it? It's not really looking at it like a negative. It's just maybe it's a change in the time or the day. But no, I think ultimately the thing that I think that's the best thing about GPS and working for Don and Mary Lee is your skill set, your talents and strengths, they're really considered where you're strong at. They're going to try to support you into that direction. So if you're not having maybe success at a particular location or in a certain position, then they try to really nurture and support and give you the opportunity to grow in maybe another direction. So I think that's the best thing, because you don't find that. That's a very unique situation, because I've worked all around. I've worked in, golf school setting, private, public, high-end public, and I did that for a reason early on in my career, to just have the wide experience to see where I was going to be most effective. And so I guess that would probably be the main thing. It's a very unique setup and a unique entity, having the support of the county, a great place to be, and great support. And we're given a forum, and it's up to us to go out and perform, and it's a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah, and that's important. You raise an interesting point. When you enjoy what it is you're doing, and I'm not just talking about the teaching aspect, but when you're in an environment that it sounds to me, just from listening to you, Donna and Val so far, and I'm going to bring Mary Lee here in just a second. It's a very almost like a family-oriented type business, where it's not just employer, employees, and that sort of thing, that you're all sort of working towards a common goal to make it a great experience, for those that are coming to partake in your facility and in your business. But even within the ranks, if you will, of employer-employee type relationships, you're trying to nurture everyone's unique talents and fit them in the best area that they can serve. And that's something that's really missing, I think, or has been missing for a long time in business. I think that too many people are focusing on the bottom line and the dollar, and not about really bringing a great product or service to the market and working to provide that. And I think that gets lost more often than not in today's market. So very well done, ladies. And Mary Lee, I want to ask you something just to along the same lines. Obviously, you're part of the team as well, and you do some other things, which I'm going to ask you about in just a second. But tell us a little bit about your experience working with, obviously, you're the Vice President of Golf Professional Services, and you're the head golf professional at Okeechobee. Is that correct? Am I saying that correct?
Yeah, that's good. Okeechobee is pretty good.
I've Hooked on Phonics, I think, was a well-bought Christmas gift a few years ago. But anyway.
Quiet waters.
What's that?
It means quiet waters, and there's 43 lakes at the facility.
Oh wow! Can I have a job there? But tell us a little bit about your experience, Mary Lee, and obviously I mentioned that you're originally from Quebec, so I'm gonna ask you a little bit about that in a moment. But you're obviously part of the team as well. Tell us a little bit about your experience at Donna's company there, Golf Professional Services, and what role you play.
Yeah, I think the one of the biggest thing is when I arrived here, I was lucky back in 1997 that the Canadian girls with Jocelyn Barassa in Canada, who is all pretty much our mentor back home, joined partnerships with Didi Owens, who's Donna's mentor, as well as Donna, to create a golf school here at Okeechobee for 18 of the Canadian players. And that's what really brought me to Okeechobee in West Palm Beach 17, 18 years ago. And that's how I started. I met Donna. That's how I started working with her specifically on my game as I was a player then, and still was just at the beginning of my playing career. What I do want to mention, one of the big things that I feel, or that was probably the best thing for me that Donna had ever suggested I do, is I was playing full-time. I was working for her part-time in the winter, working with her on my game. She gave me a part-time job when I was here in the golf shop. But the one thing she did suggest is that I joined the LPGA TNCP and the teaching and club professional, even though I was still playing at the time and my aspiration was still to become a player. She always recommended that I start doing the teaching at the same time. This way, no matter what, as the day comes where you decide that you will no longer play, you're not starting from scratch. And I think of all the things in my career, my time frame of what I've done, I think that was probably what has helped me the most, so that the day that I decided that I was not going to continue with the playing side, I just basically just just merged and went right into different duties with the company, and I've just gone to a point where now, here I am, and running the company on a day-to-day with Donna's daughter, Kristen, and with Donna's supervision, and letting her as well be able to teach at Kaiser for 4 days a week, and
right.
I think that's been a really great transition for me. One of the things that I do want to talk about, one of the things that you said earlier of what we bring to our customers, I think the main thing that we look for is to meet their expectations. Mm-hmm. Regardless if it's in our retail operation as much as in the programs that we do, it's very important to us to follow the LPG model of being student-centered, if you want, in our programs. But when they come in is really find what their expectations are and try to meet them, and that really is what ultimately will make them a happy customer.
Yeah, and the reason why I mentioned that earlier or a few moments ago about the way a lot of things are going now in business, and we see this in it's not just in the golf industry, but it's in every industry. There seems to be that lack of customer service and really trying to provide the best service and product that we can, whatever it may be. And I think it's very refreshing to see a group such as yourselves, and obviously the other professionals that are part of your team, Donna, really reach out within your community to try and do that and try to bring a great experience for people. And obviously when you do that, the money takes care of itself. But I think if you sort of do it reverse and think about your bottom line all the time, I think then you sort of lose sight of what your mission is. And it sounds to me like as I said, you've got a great team put together, but it sounds like you're very passionate about your mission as well for GPS.
Well, the mission is what ties into the vision, and our mission is parallel with Palm Beach County Parks and Recreation. Bottom line, and we respect what they're trying to do, and they respect what we're trying to do. And while the model is unique to a lot of municipalities, it has worked for us. And like I said, each facility has their own little personality, and it's up to me personally to try to match people that matches, the type of administrator or managers that they have there. And it's important to me that those relationships work and blend together well, because if the county's successful, we're successful. If we're successful, the county's successful. So I think that's really the key for me personally, which is also unique as well from like I said, within our industry, when you look at outside operations or outside vendors at different facilities. So mission relates to vision, and vision for me personally was to become for the company to be it was a simple word, to be a respected and reputable golf professional concession company. And without the team around me that I've been able to build, and without supporting staff and platform of the county with their facilities, it could have never happened. So while all the awards may have come to me, it's really been from a whole team of people. And
right.
I've kind of been the visionary person, truthfully, and Valerie and Mary Lee and the 14 other people on our staff, plus our golf attendants, and plus our Parks and Recreation people that support us. They're the ones out front day to day with the customers. So anyway, mission is purpose, and vision is where we see ourselves going, and hopefully we continue to see ourselves soaring.
Well, it sounds like you've got a great mission and a great vision. Donna, let me ask you something here, and then Mary Lee, I want to get back to you. There's something I wanted to talk with you about. Donna, in 1999, of course, you received a special recognition for the Special Olympics in Palm Beach County. You were inducted actually into the Hall of Fame for your service on the Special Olympics International Golf Committee for really over a decade, and your travels throughout the world training and educating golf professionals about methods of teaching the game of golf to people with disabilities has been widely recognized. Why was that mission so important to you? What is it that you feel you were able to do to help make that a better experience for those that obviously have been less fortunate?
Well, I think my personal allegiance to Special Olympics started happening in 1977. It's 1976. I've been involved actually since 1975 with Special Olympics. I had a college professor, Dr. Owen Holyoke, who was the state director, and so it was mandatory for a class that we have to work at the state games, and that's how I got involved with Special Olympics. And it made such an impression on me that even after that, then I would do soccer. Even I was doing golf, teaching golf in the off season at Lake Lytle soccer field. Even before it became a Special Olympics sport in my off season, just because I built a relationship with the Palm Beach County Special Olympics with Jim Riley. He was running the entire program out of his garage, and so I'm thinking, well, gosh, how can I help as a tour player? And so for 23 years, I hosted a pro-am for Special Olympics for the Palm Beach County Special Olympics. And again, my relationship with the Palm Beach County Parks happened at that point, because now this model that we use here in Palm Beach County is used throughout the nation. We now have someone who's a county employee through the Therapeutic Rec Center. We have a whole training facility. So that relationship, kicked off from a college professor, and that passion to help others. It was just something that once you work one Special Olympics game, you become hooked. So the athletes, that bond, and I was in a position to be able to help a charity, and so I latched onto that and haven't looked back. I'm still highly involved with it. I still am on both local and national committees.
Well, it's kind of interesting. It's a little bit, almost kismet in a way that I'm having you gals on here tonight, because my guests that preceded your segment here that brought the product called the Chute trainer to market are doing something very similar in reaching out to that community, those that have disabilities. Their manufacturing in Idaho is solely in that arena, and they specifically reached out again for their own reasons, but reached out to that community to help them, employ them, and help them to be able to get back into, or get into, in some cases, the workforce. It's an area of our population, our society, that more often than not gets overlooked, and is only going to continue to grow, particularly with troops and that are coming back here. From the various deployments around the world. Some of them now are, of course, coming back with disabilities, unfortunately. But so, the fact that you're doing what you're doing, and obviously I know it's a little bit different area, but essentially, it's kind of interesting that on this particular show that I have two groups of people, one in the teaching end, and of course one in the product end that's reaching out to that community. So,
cool.
Said to them, kudos.
Thing about golf, golf is a sport that people all ages and abilities and skill levels can participate to some degree.
Right.
And you look at that population of athletes, or what we call them athletes. Just to be able to go to the driving range with a parent. Mm-hmm. Look how far, before they would have never even thought about that. Or we have some Special Olympic athletes, they're shooting in the 70s. People don't realize that. So, and then now that you talk about the other accessible golf opportunities through, the PGA is doing a lot of stuff through that. The accessible golf opportunities through the Wounded Warrior and the PGA of America mm-hmm. Hope Project. It's really become an initiative by a lot of associations and companies to make golf more accessible.
Well, and that's so important. There's so many areas that golf can continue to grow. I mean, traditionally, of course, it's been initially it was started off as a male-dominant sport, and now, of course, the ladies are jumping on board more so now than what they even did. I mean, of course, at the professional level, they came in very early on. But now you're starting to see almost like a grassroots movement, if you will, in the corporate world, as more and more women are getting out into the professional climate, if you will. They're grappling and seeing the benefits of using golf not only as a social game, but also as a business tool, which again was predominantly in the male population, but now you're seeing a lot of women executives gravitating to golf. And you're also areas like in the junior area of golf as well, which leads me to my next topic. Mary Lee, I want to bring you back in here very quickly. Junior Golf Foundation of America, you're the president. Let me just very quickly read something out, and then I'd like you to give some thoughts on that. Obviously, the Junior Golf Foundation of America's mission is to provide all children the opportunity to learn and play the game of golf. The JGFA focuses on instilling the concept that golf is more than a game. So true with that. This is accomplished through the Comprehensive Education and Development Program. Through golf, its purpose is to teach positive life values to the children, including honor, integrity, self-discipline, pride, respect, responsibility, and, of course, last but not least, sportsmanship. Mary Lee, as the president of the JGFA, what is really the long-term vision that you have for this organization, the foundation?
Well, I think before I go, future is talking about that the fact that the foundation has been in existence for 20 years next year.
Right.
Donna and Bobby Brown back in 1995, Donna had set up her company quite in a unique way because her head golf professional, Bobby Brown, she had actually basically given him the free and the time to focus on pretty much primarily junior golf, which was very much unheard of, 20 years ago, to have your head golf professional, and it was a small business and not a lot of employees, to have such a focus on junior golf when there really was nothing else in the area. Okehila was really the only other the only place in the area that you could go play tournaments and develop for junior golf. So the difference, I think, of what has started JGFA in a strong manner and has continued today is the fact of our progressive program. I think a lot of places and a lot of courses that you see in programs offer a clinic here and a clinic there and a class here or lesson here, but there's really not a progression. With our foundation and the junior programs at all of our 3 locations, you really have the progression from the 3-year-old all the way up to 18. And so when a junior starts with us, they just can progress through their whole junior program from the time that they start onto the time that they go to college. And they'll never be necessarily into the same program, but having the progression. So I think that's the biggest, what sets some of the things that we do apart. And we did that from, right from the beginning with Donna and Bobby, being the co-founders of the foundation. So we continue. Our goal is through the years is really we have not increased pricing very much at all. So our main mission is to provide the complete program between the tournaments, the clinic, the level programming, summer tournaments, camps, holiday camps, teacher work days, LPGA girls golf program. We're now in partnership as well with the First Tee of Palm Beach County with some of their programming. So we continue, and our goal will always be to provide affordable programs to the juniors.
Right.
Great addition that we have this year is there really shouldn't be any juniors in this area that want to play golf that cannot, between the affordability of our programs, with also the option of the junior play card that Palm Beach County has put into effect starting last year. They've expanded it, which we are so pleased with and happy that they've supported some of the recommendations that we gave them. For $150, a junior, for $150 for the year, a junior can play unlimited golf as well as receive 3,000 golf balls a month to practice. So for a junior to want to, work on their game, be part of a program that is affordable between what the Parks and Recreation offers to them as the play card as well as our program on the instruction, I think, we're able to provide a really solid foundation. The good thing for us, and I've got to throw that out there, that we're very proud, and we do have one of our graduate, Brooke Skepka, that won tournament 2 weeks ago, I believe, in Europe, and he is now fully exempt. Will be playing in the major tournaments next summer, and so we're really proud of him. And we've created a partnership with him this year. He has sponsored 2 of our scholarships to develop some of the juniors in our area, and so we're really proud of him, and proud especially for the fact that he immediately contacted us and said, how can I help? Okehele and the foundation was really the start of my career, and so we're appreciative to him and his mom for getting involved with us as well.
Right, and let me just add to this, and I, when I say this, I'm not saying this as a criticism to any of the, whether it be the LPGA or PGA, but do you think that they've done a good job of really growing the game at a junior level? And if not, where do you see room for improvement? Do you think? I mean, obviously there's more things happening now, but do you think that it's kind of taken a while for them to really catch on?
Well, personally, you have to look at the mission of the LPGA and the PGA. They're all tour.
Right.
They're looking at the game of golf as tour, and I think that's where the misconception is for the average golfer. They have a total misconception of what golf is what they see it.
Right.
Is what they see on TV and the Golf Channel and whatsoever.
Sure.
I think they've done the best they can with to coincide with their mission. So I know the LPGA has done a good amount with the LPGA and the USGA Girls Club. The PGA Tour, they have the alliance with the First Tee, which has definitely raised the visibility of the First Tee. And then you also have the other association, the third one, which people don't realize. They all think it's the same company, PGA of America, the club professional, which done a good job, with all their sections, working with all their sections to promote and grow the game to youth as well. You've seen a big, huge initiative now the last few years in focusing on family, women through the PGA. The new strategic plan has been fun, family, women, and children. And I'm like, duh, where have you been? We've been in municipal golf, that to me, I was glad to see them kind of redirect and focus, and kind of get out of that, as you said before, the stage of, the white male elite of sport. Bottom line, it is. It is. And so I think that all 3 associations, professional associations, are really making some initiatives to try to grow the game. Now, as a whole, we also have our amateur associations. So we have our state golf associations, we have our USGA, we have the NRA, all those things. So I think the Golf 2020, the World Golf Hall, all those things, people coming together at the table is really what has made the most improvement. But the bottom line is, the truth is we're losing, the numbers are down. Junior golf participation is also down. So, but that's just the times. And you look at soccer, there's a lot of things going on for kids. It's still up to us to kind of save this sport, like the ski industry, what saved skiing, what was it? The snowboard. Yeah. So we're trying to make our efforts, but all the associations, I feel, have made a commitment to promote and grow the game to families and juniors and women.
Yeah, exactly, and I agree, and I said it wasn't really meant to be. I think you hit it right on the head. I think that people misunderstand really what the purpose and function of the LPGA and the PGA Tour are really about. They're about the tours themselves, and obviously they are pouring some resources back in to some of the other areas of golf to help grow the game. But I think it's something that collectively as an industry we need to sort of, if you will, get a central game plan, and I think that you're starting to see that unravel now. But there's a lot of junior programs across the country. There's a lot of tournaments that run junior programs. But Marilee, I want to ask you this because you may be a little bit more familiar with this term than the others, being a fellow Canadian, obviously following hockey, I'm sure, over the years. In hockey, they had something that they referred to as a house league, and a house league was basically probably a very junior, if I was to sum it up, junior level. It was very accessible for anybody that wanted to play hockey, that wanted to get in, that maybe it was sort of like an entry level. I wonder if as well as many of the programs out there and as aggressive as they are to try and get into the junior market, I wonder if there's a need for a house league type. And what I'm getting at is in the school systems where is there a way that we can sort of infiltrate the school systems? I'm not talking about the collegiate level or even the high school level, but the younger ones that can make it accessible, especially in some of the urban areas or the city areas where you have low income and so forth. It's too expensive for them to get into the sport. Is there a way that we can introduce it at that level on sort of a house league format and get some of the schools involved? Is there a way that the industry, you think, could do something like that?
Yeah, I definitely that's been a talk for the last most recent years. It's been always something that's been talked about, not much. Definitely recently, it's definitely been a focus on a lot of when we meet with the leaders in each of their areas or their association. I'll talk about a little bit of what our program does, and that's what we feel we are, is the house league. Our summer tournaments at Okehele is what we consider sort of the stepping stone into the other now tournaments. Years ago, there was no tournaments at all available to juniors, and we were the only tournaments available. As a lot of other organizations have started doing tournaments, and they're very tournament-focused, but then we lost exactly the junior that is not so competitive, but the junior that wants to play. And so that's where our program comes in with Level 3 and our Level 4 and our high school league, as well as our summer tournaments, is providing that initial or that house level, as you call it, in order for them to start competing before then they move on to the bigger events where you need the qualifiers. Years ago, our foundation had actually started one of the first 2-day events, the Junior Players Tour, and what we found is this was when Bobby was still here, that our organization is to the development of junior golf. Our focus is to develop the in terms of the programs, not so much just throw them into tournaments. And so what we realized is the 2-day events were taking over, or not taking over, but really sort of changing the mission of what we wanted, which was developing the golfer. And so we sold sold that part of our organization to really go back and focus on the development side. We know that in the last few years is a little bit of an issue. We feel from our aspect is that there's so much focus on the competition that the juniors don't practice, they don't train. It used to be, I believe years ago, was the best setup. We had from October to April was all training. It was all about working on their skills, doing the levels, doing the leagues, on-course training. And then from May to September, October is when they played in the tournaments. And so you really had the time where you were working and developing your skill, and then you really had the time where you were learning to compete. Now a lot of juniors are just sent directly in competition. They're not ready. They're not getting the results that they want, and so they quit because they're discouraged that they are not competitive compared to other players. So the tournament aspect, we feel from a development standpoint, is actually has worked against building the numbers of junior golf. So there definitely is a need for that intermediate and for that player that is not necessarily top level. For sure.
Well, and not every, and you're exactly right. Not everybody. There's a lot of youngsters that would love to get into the game. They may not want to be the next Michelle Wie or the next Tiger Woods or Rory McIlroy or whoever it might be. They're not looking to climb up.
Want them to be.
You know what I'm saying? And well, exactly. But they may not want to be that next elite player. They just want to be able to go out and play. And it's very difficult in some areas for somebody. For instance, if somebody wanted to go up and take up tennis, they can go to their local sporting goods store and for very low cost get a tennis racket and a sleeve of tennis balls, and away they go. And it's very affordable. Golf, of course, is not like that in the respect. And I know there are a lot of movements within the golf industry to try and make it more affordable, but I still think there's still some room, and I know it's going in the right direction, but I just wanted to sort of get your feedback. I want to sort of wrap things up with this last topic. I sort of touched on it. We've mentioned a little bit here along the way, but I think it's important, especially since I have the three of you on here. And Donna, I'm going to start with you. Val, I want you to jump in here as well, and Mary Lee, of course. In addition to certainly growing the game at a junior level, we need to aggressively tackle the women's market. As more and more women move, as I mentioned, into the corporate world, they are gravitating to golf not only as a business tool but as a social outlet as well. What can the industry, both at the professional level and corporate level, do to cater to the women's market? Donna, I'm going to let you have the first shot at that.
Well, I think there's two key words that you touched on. The kids want to go play, and they want to have fun. So, golf is very intimidating. It's very difficult. People quit. I mean, the statistics show you, they can't get the ball up in the air. So I think it's up to us as golf professionals to try to create some fun, less intimidating types of ways that we can introduce women to the game. Valerie's had a very successful program here where Valerie can tell you a little bit about her program. I think they have more fun at the bar than they do on the game, but who cares? But anyway, it was a unique program. It is a unique program. What is it called? The
Divas Drive and Dine.
It's called the Divas Drive and Dine. So, so you're seeing a lot more of those types of things. So every day I get the best practices, from the PGA of America, and you're seeing a lot of these kind of things being directed towards women specifically. So I think making it less intimidating and adding fun to it,
Val,
the two.
Yeah.
Right. Val, tell us a little bit about your program that you're running.
Well, like Donna said, anything that's fun, you would think that, it's just for kids. Kids just want that fun aspect. I was having this conversation with some other golf professionals, and we got into a little bit of a debate that, fun is just a little too elementary, and I don't think we should use that word with adults. And I said, I disagree, because there's so many pressures on everybody these days, and adults want to have fun with the game too. So you're not going to get them to come back, number one, if they don't have fun, and number two, if they don't get better. So one thing I've started to say in the last couple of years is, have fun and get better. So it's kind of my little mantra that whatever you need to do. So I think for the ladies, they do like the group stuff. They like the social aspect, making them feel comfortable with, and I think the name of your program is key. I think, I've got a program called Golf 101. I've had people say they would just come because they saw the name and they thought, I can come to that. It's amazing how many ladies don't even think they're good enough to come to a clinic, when that's the whole idea. So I think the name is key, making it sound not so intimidating, and it really starts the moment you meet someone, in my opinion, in the first 5 minutes is, make them feel at ease, make them feel welcomed, and usually, if you can do that, hopefully they'll want to come back. I mean, I had a lady not too long ago just say that she was in the parking lot and was afraid to come in, but she was so glad that she did. And so I think making it sounds elementary, but making it fun, thinking outside the box, doing anything that's different that can add value to their experience. So, I mean, there are a million golf professionals. What can we do that's different, or that's going to want them to come back? And I think it's that personal connection and the whole follow-up and building relationships. I mean, just having them come to your class and leaning against a golf club and saying nice shot is not going to cut it. I think you got to, not just send them a little email maybe after the clinic, maybe touch base with them a couple days later and just keep following up. I mean, that's probably the greatest lesson I learned from my father is constantly follow up in whatever you do. And people know, if you show people that you care, and once they realize that you care, I think you inspire them, to want to practice and come back. And so with the ladies, I try to do more social type group things,
right,
and make it not so make it less intimidating. And I have a thing called 4 with More, which is on the golf course, and I found that the ladies typically love the golf course on-course sessions. So, just try to be creative, think outside the box, And listen to them. You know, getting feedback, because if we don't get feedback, how do we know we're providing a good service?
Exactly. And I think something else too that you know we was mentioned here as well is the family unit. You know, more and more people are looking for things to do as a family unit. And let me give you an example. You know, for a long time, you know, Dad would go off and play golf. Mom would take the kids to soccer or baseball or ballet or whatever it happened to be. And the family unit was sort of going their own way for sort of fun activities. And I think the golf industry, and maybe along with some of the resorts, I mean, I know the resorts and some of the, you know, not private facilities are still hurting, especially through this recession that we've been going through, or whatever the government's calling it these days. But you know what I'm saying. But, you know, one of the things that I think that the industry could do is to be more inviting to the family unit and making it so appealing that families would want to come out to the facilities and want to come out and you know, get into some fun golf activities, not just necessarily just playing on the course, but you know, even in some of the courses out there have some great practice facilities, and making some sort of a clinic or a day, if you will, or an event, if you will, that the families can come out and participate as a group. Are you guys doing things like that through the junior programs, Mary Lee?
The county as a whole, yes. We have Family Day on Sundays, I mean, at all their facilities. So we're very lucky that we're in a setting that gets it, working for Parks and Recreation, I mean, they understand that, participation, families, all those types of things. So we've been very blessed, and we have course access as well for on-course things for families. So we actually dedicate family, all the facilities have family golf days, and they have they block tee times and they have family events as part of both the county mission as well as our mission. Another thing as far as families, when you look at one of my peers, how they always talk, well, the kids should play free. Well, how about the parents play? Let's make the kids pay and then give mom and dad a price break or something. So there's a lot of things that can be done out there as well. But, a parent's going to pay for their child.
Sure.
Before they're going to buy something for themselves. You know that as a parent. I know that as a parent. So families are key and critical, and knowing your market and what type of programs that they would that you could do is important. But Mary Lee did a unique thing with all the Quebecers as well, as far as trying to get women into the game. Another way that you can do it is what she did is we created some couples events, with husband and wife. So again, you're talking about family, and because a lot of times, I can tell you, I got a call last week from a husband to book the lesson for the wife. Okay, so where do you go from that? Well, what I say is, let me speak to your wife. But that's normal, that's typical, that's acceptable, but that's kind of where we are at times. And that's maybe that person was intimidated or didn't, but hopefully you can get the person who really wanted the lesson. Even the same thing for the child. The parent calls to book the lesson for the child.
Yeah.
So it's our goal as golf professionals to build that relationship where that person or that child or that female, that new golfer to the game is comfortable enough where eventually, hopefully, they're calling or texting to book the lesson. But Mary Lee's couples event, the couples clinics, has also been something that's been very successful. And Valerie's done a similar thing here at John Prince. Inappropriate. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, and
Ted, I was just going to jump in real quick, and I'm actually the product of being exposed to a free little junior clinic. When I was little, I was 8 years old. I was playing every other sport, and my mom actually takes credit for my career now, which is quite all right. She did give birth, but I went and we signed up for this little 10-pack free junior series down at our local public golf course, and I just remember when I first hit that ball, it's like I think that's why I love it so much, being a part of GPS and representing Palm Beach County, because we do provide those monthly, on top of everything else, but we do offer those monthly parent-child type activities, and, if just one child is exposed to the game that maybe otherwise wouldn't have been, I mean, it turned me onto the game, and I loved it from the first moment. So I mean, I can remember, starting with a program like we were talking about earlier. I think it's so important to give back, constantly. I mean, not just do it once in a while, and not just do it because it's an initiative, but do it quite often throughout the year.
Yeah, exactly. And on that note, ladies, it's hard to believe, but we've actually come to the end of our journey this evening, and I want to thank all of you for participating and for coming back and for rescheduling with me coming back here before the holidays. Donna, I want to give you let you start off first, and then Valerie, and then Mary Lee, respectively, just to let everybody know that if they want to get in touch with you with respect to not only Golf Pro Services, but individually for lessons and things like that, I'll let you have a few moments. Donna, if you want to start, just let everybody know how they can find out more information about your business and where they can go to get some help.
Well, bottom line, to get in touch with all three of us, they can just go to the website, www.golfproservices.org, and there's kind of some bios on there, and some phone numbers and email addresses for the three of us, and pbcgolf.com also is a website that you could access to play at the facilities as well, and book tee times from that as for golf. And there's also a link on that website that links to our programs at the different facilities.
I think if I could add, we do have 14 to 18 pros on our staff, so Donna, Valerie, and my role are as well in terms of running and managing the business. And so we do also have a lot of other professionals that have different talents and treasures that can meet the expectation of our customers out there. So basically our website and jgfa.org for our juniors. I do want to mention we have a great fundraiser right now going on for our junior golf. It's our biggest one of the year for someone that has a chance to win a car. It does help us, and a great partnership with the Honda Classic at jgfa.org. You'll see that on there as well if you go look at some of our program. But for any juniors in the area, there is absolutely a way to be able as a junior to play golf with an affordable fee in Palm Beach County with all the programs with the Parks and Rec as well as JGFA.
And South County as well, Don Law Golf Game Improvement. Don Law has a contract similar to South County at Osprey Point in the Boca Broward County, the Palm Beach County Broward County line. So pbcgolf.com for anyone visiting South Florida or in the area. Log on, and hopefully we'll see you there.
Well, thank you. And since you mentioned Don Law has actually been on the program. He was on here early last year. Great gentleman, certainly a true professional, and it was nice of you to give him a plug as well. Ladies, thank you very much. Donna, again, congratulations on being inducted into the LPGA and Teachers and Club Professionals Hall of Fame. I know that was certainly an honor, and I know that you're a humble person, but kudos to you and congratulations, and I know that the rewards and awards will keep coming in. You're doing some fantastic work. Valerie, thank you for helping to set this up, and Mary Lee, thank you as well for joining us, and just let me say this, and I say this really to all my guests, but I always like to have an open invitation. You're welcome to come back here anytime and share what it is that you do. The real purpose of this show, as I've explained almost to nausea to all of my listeners here over the last few years, is really to bring people such as yourselves and others in the golf industry, not just the teacher professionals, but also whether it be products or service ended, is really into a format. We all are not going to have an opportunity necessarily to get on some of the major networks like Golf Channel and ESPN and things like that, because they're really primarily focusing, as you said earlier, on the tours and things like that, and understandably so. So really, the format of this show is really to bring others. Not only do we have some average high handicapper golfers out there that are tuning into the program, but we also have others within the profession that listen to my show as well. So it's a great way to exchange and share ideas and thoughts. So ladies, you're all welcome to come back together, independently, whatever you see fit. You always have an open invitation here on Golf Talk Live.
Thanks, Ted.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
We really appreciate your time and rescheduling as well. And shout out to Cindy Miller too, because I think you're doing an initiative with her too. So.
Cindy.
I know she's a hurricane.
Cindy's we'll finish off with Cindy. Cindy's a great lady, and obviously, of course, have the other program on Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern time called Women of Golf, and we may have you in the new year, you gals, come on there as well.
Cool.
That's obviously geared more for the women's market, but we're trying to grow the game every way that we can. And with your help and the listeners all around the world that tune into this broadcast, I want to thank you for joining me tonight.
All right. Thanks again, Ted.
All right. You have a great evening.
Orders drop.
Yeah, really. Have a great evening, ladies. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, that was, of course, Donna White, Valerie Moore, and, of course, Mary Lee Cobick, all three great LPGA teacher professionals. And as I mentioned a couple of times, Donna White, of course, recently inducted into the LPGA and Teacher and Club Professionals Hall of Fame here in, just a few short weeks ago, actually, just prior to our earlier broadcast. But I want to thank them, and I want to thank the group from the Chute trainer that was here earlier. Don't forget, if you want to pick up one of the Chute trainers, you can go to the website chutetrainer.com, type in Golf Talk Live in the promo code section in lowercase, and receive a 30% discount. So make sure you go and do that and make a great Christmas gift for that golfer in your family. I want to thank, as I said, I want to thank all of my guests tonight, but I particularly want to thank all of you out there, all of the listeners that faithfully tune in each and every week from around the world, certainly have the pleasure and honor and enjoyment of having a number of highly talented coaches, teacher professionals, authors, and entrepreneurs stop by here and share their thoughts and insight into the game. And it's through their participation and guest appearances that have helped make Golf Talk Live a first-class show. Thanks to all the supporters of the program, Jonathan Laird from South Coast Golf Guide, Meredith Kirk from Meredith Kirk Golf, and Nikki and Tiffany Litherland, Bernie Pinder, of course, from Ontic Golf, and Peter Doyle from Doyle Golf Solutions over in Ireland, and all of the others that help make this show great. And don't forget to join Cindy and I on the Women of Golf every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on blogtalkradio.com. Women of Golf. Have a great weekend, everybody. Next week will be the last week that we'll broadcast both shows for the 2014 season. We're going to take a little break through the Christmas holidays, and we'll be ramped up, ready to go back in January. For the Golf Talk Live show, it'll be the week of the 15th, and I believe the Tuesday, which would be the 13th, I believe is going to be the first show that we're going to do for the Women of Golf. So make sure you tune back in after the holidays. Have a safe and happy holiday. I will talk to you next week right here on Golf Talk Live. God bless everybody and have a great evening.